Welcome to the Execu-Tips for Success Fastcast. I'm your host, Doug Gibson. Today, I'm here with Jason Alvarez-Cohen, CEO of Popl. Jason, welcome.
Thank you, Doug. Great to be here.
Tell us a little bit about Popl. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with it, but I'd love to get your take and tell us about the company.
Absolutely. So Popl is a digital business card platform for both individuals and teams. The way that our system works is individuals and teams can create digital business cards and essentially replace paper ones and create this beautiful page of business information, contact info, etc., and then share that with others that they meet. You can share via QR code, Apple name drop, or an NFC device. And the information is shared with someone else, and then they can save it as a contact. And so it allows individuals and teams to manage their contacts and share information very quickly. And we started the company in 2020.
How's the growth been of the company and moving away from the classic, right? The regular business card that everybody hands out. How has the growth been and the adoption been?
Yeah, so we actually launched right before COVID. So 2020 February. Great timing. Yeah, exactly. So it was a very interesting kind of turning point where contactless became popular. And what was good for us is that it accelerated the need for a contactless solution, especially with everyone just being more conscious of handing someone a paper card. So that actually helped us and allowed us to grow in those initial stages with individuals. We used TikTok as our initial growth channel. We started off, we didn't have any money. So TikTok was our free advertising channel that we used to acquire users. And then from there, we went through Y Combinator, which is a accelerator. Yep. And then we raised our seed round. We raised 2.5 million. That was in 2021. And ever since, we've been growing a profitable business. And we have done a shift from not only the individuals, but also to teams. So now teams can use our dashboard to create digital cards for thousands of employees at scale.
And I know you know this because this is how you and I became connected, but we use Popl. So I see and follow a lot of the updates, and you guys are now starting to integrate AI into the model and to assist.
Absolutely. Every enterprise company, if they're not thinking about AI, they're potentially falling behind. So of course, we thought about AI and how we could apply it to our offering. And we have some exciting updates coming out there. The first one that actually went live last week is follow-up messages. So now with Popl AI, you can write follow-up messages that have great context to anyone that you meet, right? So Doug, let's say you and I meet and Popl facilitates that connection. Popl now knows your information, my information, where we met and when we met. And so then with all that context, it can make a really nice follow-up email or text that allows me to save a lot of time and send information to you instantly.
Well, you just hit on a key point, man, because saving time is what everybody is looking for these days. So any technology you can use to leverage that ability to save time is definitely something that we're definitely all about. So
completely agree.
Congratulations on the success, man. It's been great to watch and kind of experience, and you guys are continuing to evolve and bring out new products, which is terrific, coming from just, again, more of a stagnant model with just business cards, right? And so it's been fantastic, and we're big fans. So that's the easy stuff. We'll dive into a little bit more detailed stuff, and hopefully you can share some insight and some experiences to help my audience learn from some of the successes and failures that you've experienced, so that we can learn from them and take pointers and help shape our careers. So tell me about a significant moment in your career or your personal life, just kind of the turning point that puts you on your current path.
Yeah. So in high school, I came to a realization that I wanted to have an extraordinary life. And I think it was like watching Kobe Bryant was a big turning point for me. He was a figure of motivation and just like willingness to just work so hard to get to his goals that really inspired me. And so at that early age in high school, I decided that I wanted to live an extraordinary life and work really hard to get there. And so I started working very hard while a lot of my classmates were going to high school parties and building social lives. And so I worked really hard to get into first a great college. So I went to UCLA, and then also I became an engineer, right? So I developed a skill and I wanted to go into software particularly. And so going to UCLA and then going to software, uh, I then combined that with my extrovertedness to enjoy social life and also meet new people. And so I took software and social, and I then combined those into where I am to now, which is building this company, right? And so having that mindset of working very hard and then having the skills, the hard skills of being a software engineer have allowed me to build this company around me of co-founders, salespeople, engineers, et cetera, and also attack a very pressing problem that I'm passionate about.
Where did you get, I'm always curious, the idea for, were you at a networking event and just walked out with a stack full of cards and you said, I've had enough of this, right? You saw a problem and solved it, or was, what was it? What was that moment for you?
Yeah. So people always assume that, okay, where we are now, I saw the problem and the solution for that thing at that moment of starting the company. And that's not necessarily always right. A lot of times companies will start with this spark, this idea, and they'll hit pivots and changes throughout their course of the company to get to where they are today. So the latter there is really what happened to me. So the initial idea was learning about NFC technology. So I learned about NFC technology at a party in the Hollywood Hills. And my first thought was, wow, I didn't know that you could tap an iPhone to share data, right? So that was kind of the very spark of the idea. And so my first thought was, let's use that for contact sharing. Let's take this, tap a phone and allow that to share certain data that's a contact, right? And so then I can tap to share my social media, or tap to share my phone number. And we started off very Gen Z, very TikTok-y. Young people are going to tap to share their TikTok or their Instagram or their et cetera. And so that was the initial idea, right? Hardware device, tap to share. And so little did we know that through all these pivots that we're now going to be at this B2B platform for companies that's a digital business card platform, right? And so people always try to say like, oh, it seems so cool that you came up with this idea, but no, it really was this idea. And then it evolved into that one.
Just one thing led to another, led to another, led to another. And here you are today, man. That's fantastic.
It's really, yeah. The key is, talking to users. So like talk to your customers. What do they want to see next? What does that align with what you're thinking of building next? And is what you're building in line with a bigger market of people that are going to want that product?
Yeah. Well, I know that was one of the things you asked me, and you have on your site an ability to leave feedback. So I'm curious, since you brought that up, how many of your ideas or the new things that you're developing are actually coming from users versus, being generated by your team behind the scenes?
Yeah, it's a great question. And it's a common kind of concept of like, how Ford, I believe it was Ford, he said, if you ask the customers what they wanted, they would say a faster horse, right? Instead of a car. So it's always kind of like a double-edged sword where you want to get the feedback from your customers, but you also want to have a vision for the company because, the customers don't necessarily know what's possible. And so we have this nice combination where a lot of us who understand the future in our roadmap can then also take in customer feedback and frame that to the roadmap. Like, how can we make sure we're hitting these things the customers want, but also in line with the roadmap? It's kind of a nice 50-50.
That's great. And of course, that's pretty unique in the industry, and especially in technology, because I can't think of a whole lot of companies that are as interactive and trying to get feedback and experiences from their users. And I think if more people would do it, we would have some better offerings in a lot of different areas.
Totally agree. Shout out to Y Combinator for that. That's like a big thing that they drive into their companies. Talk to your users every day, constantly. So yeah, shout out to them for bringing that into the culture.
And talking about, your initial vision and where you are today, my next question is going to be about failures and how you have learned from those experiences. Can you talk about the failures and share any experiences and how those things how you have learned from those experiences to help make improvements, in your business?
Absolutely. So as a first-time founder, and Popl is so far succeeding, can't really speak to any business failures quite yet, but I can speak to a more personal one that was part of my journey. So in high school, I was a very shy guy, right? And I didn't really like that. I was a shy person and we had a lot of cliques. And so I was kind of pigeonholed into this person with this personality. And so I see that as like part of my journey, but also somewhat of a failure. It's like I didn't really live the extravagant high school experience that I could have maybe lived. But seeing it in a light way is that allowed me to then decide that I wanted to change who I was. So going from high school to college was like a little context switch where I'm, changing locations, going from Berkeley to LA. And I wanted to become a new person. I wanted to be an extroverted person with a lot of friends and be well known on campus. And so that's what I did. I just like set off from day one of orientation at UCLA. And I said, I'm going to be a new person now. And so I just like did things that scared me. I met new people. I like talked to strangers. And sure enough, my UCLA experience was exactly what I was looking for. This extroverted period of excitement, meeting new people, working on software. And it's really brought me to where I am today.
And all of those experiences have led you to be the CEO of a company that is designed to engage people, which is pretty incredible considering you were this shy kid that didn't have a lot of that interactions, and now you're running a company that's solely based on making you assisting you in interacting with other people. That's
exactly.
That's pretty cool.
That's something that we all love. We all of us at Popl, we also use the product, right? Like when we actually go out and meet people, we're using Popl. So it's really fulfilling to build this product of value that is also used by us. Sometimes you'll have that disconnect where like, you're building a product for a certain demographic or company, and you're not that demographic. So you're not even the ideal target market. And there could be a disconnect there if you're not using it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is an easy one, man. Before we wrap up, tell me something that's on your bucket list, right? You're young, so I'm sure there's probably a long list, or hopefully there's a long list. It can be personal or professional. Tell us what's at the very top of Jason's bucket list and something you want to accomplish pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's an easy one for me because there's really only one. It is, I want to take a company and I want to build so much value with it that we hit $1 billion valuation.
That's
simple as that.
That's a lofty goal. You want to tell us where you are today?
Well, I can't say too much, but we are. Well, yeah. We just hit 8 figures in ARR. So that's annual recurring revenue.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, again, if hopefully at the end of this, you'll be able to pick up some of our subscribers and continue to grow that online presence and hopefully get a few adopters. You certainly, I'm a fan. Obviously, our firm and our team are big users, so we enjoy it. Before we wrap up, anything else you want to share to plug Popl about what's coming, what's next? Anything you want to leave us with before we conclude?
Absolutely. Well, the team is working hard on some very exciting updates. I can't say too much, but Popl AI is definitely going to be a big part of our offering moving forward. And then, if you're an individual or you have a team and you think you can benefit from collecting more contacts, more leads, and being able to fully connect with people that you meet, give us a shot.
Perfect, man. Jason, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations to all the success. And we're looking forward to not only witnessing future updates, but being able to use it and take advantage of them in my own business. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for being a guest, and we'll stay in touch, man. Have a great afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Doug.